we are also getting evolutionarily inappropriate amounts of omega-6 from things like chicken and pork. Because going back to our previous point, humans, chickens, and pigs are all monogastric animals. We all store polyunsaturated fats. When you are eating a chicken and the chicken thigh is going to be fattier, if you're eating a chicken thigh and that chicken is fed corn and soy, just like humans that are fed corn and soy oils, that chicken is accumulating linoleic acid in their fatty acid in their tissues. So chickens historically, if you look at wild chickens, 4% linoleic acid in their fat. Chickens today, 20%.
Wow.
Same with pigs, 4 to 5%. Wild hogs, right? 4 to 5% linoleic acid in their tissues. Today, 20% linoleic acid in their tissues. So do I think that eating traditionally raised pork and chicken is the major contributor to No, this is not the biggest. It's mostly seed oils.
Right.
But if somebody is really trying to be aware of evolutionarily appropriate, biologically appropriate consumption of linoleic acid, you have to start thinking about your bacon. I'm sorry. And look, like you can do it, raise your own pigs, let them root in the ground, let them eat bugs and worms and mice, because they do eat other animals, and let them eat roots. Don't feed them corn and soy, and your pigs will have much lower amounts of linoleic acid. There are more and more of these producers out there doing low LA pork.
Wow.
But historically, we are eating pork that is full of linoleic acid because of what they're fed. So most of it is coming from seed oils, and it's coming from, and this also happens with our eggs, Gary, too, which is why it's important to eat chickens or eggs from chickens that are eating the right things, right?
Right.
So if chickens are eating better, there's less linoleic acid in their eggs. But if chickens are eating corn and soy, they pour more linoleic acid into their eggs. And so there was recently an article that came out about this, like the amount of linoleic acid in egg yolks is higher than it probably should be historically.
Wow.
So the quality of what your chickens is eating, and I don't want this, at this point I'll pause and say, I don't want this to be overwhelming for people.
Right.
Knowledge is power. Know better, do better.
Right.
I'm just offering information that anyone listening to this can use wherever they are in their health journey.
Right.
If your first step is getting rid of seed oils, get rid of seed oils.
Yes.
Keep eating pork, keep eating chicken, keep eating your eggs. Don't worry about that yet.
Right.
That's step 3. That's step 3, but I'm giving you all the steps, right?
Right.
So that's where all of the linoleic acid is coming from in our diets. And it's kind of tough because when you think about it, we're getting it from all angles. If the chickens that you're eating are fed corn and soy, and the pork you're eating is fed corn and soy, and the eggs are coming from chickens that are fed corn and soy, and you're eating seed oils,
and then you're making sauces, out of corn and soy.
Yeah. Then how is it any wonder? Think about all of these inputs in our diets, and this. I'll go back to this phrase: evolutionarily inappropriate consumption of excess amounts of linoleic acid in our diet. And I think it's a real problem for humans. And it happens at every level. The good news here is that beef is a ruminant, right? Beef, so cows, bison, lamb, elk, deer, these animals do not bioaccumulate linoleic acid. They have the biochemical machinery to saturate polyunsaturated fatty acids. We do not. So if a cow is fed grains, it has essentially the same amount of linoleic acid in its fat as a cow that's fed grass. I think a cow is better when it's fed grass, but a grain-fed cow does not have the same magnification of linoleic acid in its tissues
as a chicken,
or a pig because they're monogastric, or a human, right? Not that we're eating humans, but like humans store this. So we have the same issue. There's evidence from, archaeology or anthropology that in our fatty tissues, humans historically had 2-3% linoleic acid, and now we're looking at 20+% linoleic acid in our fat. So we are the same as a chicken or a pig being stuffed.
And what's the consequences of all of this linoleic acid? Is it because it's composition of the cell membrane?
Back to the mitochondrial thing we talked about with the proton leak and, potentially impairing at a cellular energy level. The hypothesis, which I think is supported by the literature, is that it's impairing the biotransformation of potential energy to kinetic energy.